broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Monday 9th September 2024 and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kambi and this is the day that the Lord has made and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Yes, we have begun another week. Yes, it's Monday morning and it's the second week of school. Yes, our children are back out of school and of course we give God thanks and praise for how the first week has been, and we pray for better things to come as we continue getting our children in spaces where they can learn. We are very thankful for our teachers, of course, who are doing their very best there in our schools. We have a wonderful show lined up for you this morning, and we do hope that you could stay with us as we go throughout the program this morning. I want to say special good morning to all our viewers, our loyal viewers, whether you view us on our Facebook live stream, on our YouTube channel, or on Amplier 102. Thank you so much for choosing us and for making us your choice for morning television. Thank you for making us a part of your morning routine. Whether you are getting ready for work, whether you are in your kitchen preparing breakfast, whether you're puttering around in your garden, whatever you're doing this morning, it is an honor to be in your space this morning, bringing information to you about things happening in and around Tobago. We do hope that you could stay with us throughout the entire programming this morning. But before we get into all of that, we're going to head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, September 9th, 2024. Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez stressed that the urgent need for energy reform in Trinidad and Tobago due to Tobago's rise in energy demands. At the launch of a 15 kilowatts solar PV system at the Shallerville Methodist Primary School, he warned that Tobago could face an energy shortage within 5 years if it continues to expand at its current pace. Gonzalez highlighted the financial strain of electricity and water subsidies with over $4 billion owed to National Gas Company. Gonzalez advocated for a shift to renewable energy and emphasized the need for infrastructure investment to secure Tobago's long-term energy security. Up next, Anthurium Lewis from Bishop's High School, Tobago, placed second at the Caribbean Tourism Organization Regional Tourism Youth Congress 2024 competition in Grand Cayman. Lewis competed against 12 other Caribbean youth representatives and impressed the judges with her insightful speech on the blue economy. She proposed 3 initiative projects: a digital underwater heritage museum showcasing Tobago's marine history via virtual reality, the Marine Miracle Project converting sargassum into biodegradable plastics, and the Tobago Blue Guardian, an AI-powered marine monitoring system. Her ideas emphasize environmental sustainability and the future of responsible tourism. And finally, Rachel Kestel of Tobago, representing Encore Dance Theatre, was crowned Miss Lorraine Revere 2024 at the Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy competition. Kestel also copped the Best Gong, Best Talent, and Best Self-Expression category of the competition. Congratulations, Miss Kestel. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biana, for the news there in 90 seconds. And of course, 2 very proud moments for us here in Tobago. First of all, I want to say congratulations to little Miss, not little, young lady Anthurium. They're representing us in the tourism sector, going across there to the Cayman Islands and participating and coming out 22nd. You know, it is something that we are very proud of, and we want to say congratulations to you, Anthurium, to you, your parents, your teachers, and to all of those who assisted you and supported you in achieving this goal, and good representation here for the island of Tobago. So we say congratulations to you, thank you to you, and keep shining. Bianna, how do you feel about hearing those two good news coming out this morning?
I feel awesome. And congratulations to Miss Lewis as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, they stood behind her and they really, really supported her. And you know, when we had that conversation with Anthurium, she is so, to look at her, she looks so quiet and reserved.
Yes.
But to have a conversation with her, she's so intelligent, well put together, and she presents herself so well. So
and I guess is with the support of Miss Tasha Boris and Julian Skeet, I believe. Yeah, she did us proud in Grand Cayman.
That's right, that's
yes,
right.
Yes.
And of course, coming out there from Best Village, Laren Rive Queen,
yes.
hailing from Tobago, of course. You know, another proud moment. It was quite a couple of years that Tobago had this title.
Yes, I think it's 30 years.
30 years, and
yes.
the title is back in Tobago. And you know, I had the opportunity to see Rachel, qualify in Tobago and move on to Trinidad. And you know, when I saw her performance in Tobago, I said to myself, "Here, we have something good going on here. We stand a good chance."
Yes.
And you know, I am really, really happy when I saw the news. I think I screamed. You know, I think I expressed myself in that way because I was very happy to hear that she was able to do that. And Tobago has that level of talent,
but
and
her
that commitment and that
system
drive.
was awesome too as well.
That's right, that's right. And that's the thing about Tobago.
Yes.
Whenever we take a national or international stage, we rally around each other. The support system is always there, you know, to encourage. And so I want to encourage all of Tobago to keep supporting each other wherever we go, wherever we represent this island, any part of the world. Because remember, we're trying to attain the greatest little island on the planet. That is what we're working towards. So I want to encourage all of Tobagonians, wherever you are in the diaspora, wherever you are, whenever you see a Tobago person taking a national or international stage, let us rally around that person to support them. Look at the smile there, the brilliant smile, you know. Again, I want to say congratulations to her. Bianna,
yes,
what are you looking forward to most this week?
To be much more productive, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, productivity is a good thing, and you know, it's part of our watchword. So let us work to be productive. I like that. I think we're gonna adopt that word for this week. Productivity.
Yes.
So on Friday, I'm gonna check in again to see what we were able to achieve in terms of producing, you know, whatever goals we want to achieve this week. So Bianna, thank you so much, and I do hope that you have a blessed and productive week.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating. We head on over to our birthday shout outs. All right, first on screen and celebrating this morning, we have Keelan Webster. Keelan Webster, known as Boyman. He is celebrating a birthday today, and Keelan, we want to say happy birthday to you, coming to you from all of us here at the Tobago Updates television. We want to wish you the very best. We pray God's blessings upon your life. So happy birthday to you. Then we have Brittany Romeo. Brittany Romeo is celebrating her birthday today, and we also want to say happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. Janine Small is also celebrating, and Janine, we celebrate with you this morning. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday today. And we do hope that as you enter this new chapter of your life, that you have beautiful experiences. Myrna Riley Devines is also celebrating a birthday today. And Myrna, we want to wish you a happy birthday today. We pray God's blessings upon your life. And we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday today. Yolanda Job Thomas is next, and she is celebrating a birthday today as well. A belated birthday, I believe she celebrated over the weekend. We say happy belated birthday to you, and we pray God's blessings upon your life. And we do hope that you have a wonderful birthday as well. Another belated birthday, this is Nicholas Benjamin. Nicholas Benjamin also celebrated, and we want to wish you a happy birthday, Nicholas. We pray God's blessings upon your life as you enter this new chapter and this new stage and phase of your life. On screen now and celebrating is Navia McMillan. Navia McMillan is also celebrating a birthday today. And Navia, we want to say happy, happy, happy birthday to you. A beautiful lady indeed. And we want to say happy birthday to you. And we have a special birthday today, a special happy birthday to Miss Louise Brebner. And this is coming from your two children, Biana. Yes, if you know that name, Biana Brebner, one of our very own, our news anchor here on the morning show. It's her mom's birthday today. It's coming from Biana and Cleavon. And they say happy birthday to you, and they trust that you have an awesome day and God's richest blessings to you. So happy birthday to you. We have a lot of birthday celebrations today, so bear with us. This is the beautiful Amia Phillips. This is one of my youths from my church. Yes, she calls me auntie, so it's a special day for me. And I want to say happy birthday to you, Amia. I pray God's blessings upon your life, and I pray that as you enter this new phase and stage of your life, that you see the hand of God and that you recognize how beautiful you are, because indeed you are a beauty. So happy birthday to you, my darling. There's so many birthdays today. Dominic Carrington is also celebrating a birthday. We want to say happy birthday to you, Dominic. We pray God's blessings upon your life. Another one of my young people who, she's very, very talented and artistic. And I want to say happy birthday to you, Dominic. And I wish you all the very best in this new chapter of your life. Charla Ramsey Roberts, belated birthday. She celebrated on Saturday, and we want to say happy belated birthday to you, Charla. We hope that you do enjoy the period, the season of birthday as you enter this new chapter of your life. So happy birthday to you. And finally, the lady who is larger than life itself, Alma Gordon Holder. She celebrated yesterday. Yesterday was her birthday, and Alma, we want to say happy belated birthday to you. And as you enter this new season and this new chapter of your life, that you continue to have and create beautiful memories. So happy birthday to you, Alma. And of course, if you're celebrating a birthday and we don't have your photo, we still want to wish you a happy birthday. We pray God's blessings upon your life. And remember to give God thanks for life. For no man can give life to himself except God gives it unto him. All right, so it's Monday morning and you might be wondering what's in my cup. What's in my cup is sponsored by LCJ Delights. This morning I am drinking sorrel bay leaf tea. Yes, you can get all your teas, your porridges, flour to make your pancakes and waffles from LCJ Delights. They're in Signal Hill, so you can follow them on their Instagram pages and their Facebook page to get all the details as to what they supply for you for all your breakfast needs. Who are we speaking with this morning? This Monday morning, we start the conversation off by speaking with Mr. Kevin McKenna. Kevin McKenna is the manager of the Scarborough Esplanade, and we'll be speaking about upcoming projects that is taking place there on the Esplanade. We also speak with Mr. Alan Stewart, the director of TEMA, as we speak about preparations for October Carnival. And then we round the conversation up by speaking with Ms. Avian Parks. She is the communications director in the office of the chief secretary, and we speak about Tobago Day Awards 2024 nominations, 116, and the relaunch of Let's Talk Tobago. Of course, these things are happening right here in Tobago, and so we bring you the information, we have the conversations, and we hope that you can be a part of it all. So we ask that you stay with us as you continue on the program with us this morning, and as you stay with us, we encourage you to invite all of your friends to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
The CONCACAF Nations League, Tuesday, 10th September. Trinidad and Tobago will face French Guyana at the Dwight York Stadium. Tobago, the Stars will be on the field. Kickoff, 7 p.m. sharp. Be there to see the battle unfold. Time to represent our national pride. TNT, this September. It's time to rally again. The CONCACAF Nations League.
Are you ready to optimize your wedding business for engagement season and book more clients? Refine is the place to be. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024 from 9 a.m. Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. This premier event is designed specifically for Caribbean wedding industry professionals. Gain expert insights, practical knowledge, and valuable connections that can help you thrive in the destination wedding market. Register now at refinesummit.com. It is time to refine. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Get insider info, advice, and insights from local, regional, and international players in the destination wedding market. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024, Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. It's time to refine.
When you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and thank you so much for staying with us this morning. We begin conversations this morning by speaking with Mr. Kevin McKenna. He's the chairman of the Scarborough Esplanade here in Tobago. And of course, we're going to be talking about upcoming projects on the Esplanade, along with what is wrong with my tongue this Monday morning. Maybe I haven't had coffee, and I will have some later on this morning. But Kevin, we're going to head on into the conversation this morning. You know, the Scarborough Esplanade is there kind of like in the center of Scarborough. It is supposed to be like a hub for businesses on the island of Tobago where people can ply their trade, where they can make a few, make a buck right there in Scarborough, Tobago. And so we want to know what is going on in terms of activities, projects, initiatives centered around the Esplanade in terms of generating the kind of income and also interest at the Scarborough Esplanade, which I believe is the general intent for setting up that place.
All right, so good morning to the Tobago Updates family. Good morning to Tobago. So diving straight into it, of course. All right, so good morning again, guys. So as you indicated, I'm the chairman of the Milford Road Esplanade Board, and this morning I'll be going through some of the activities or projects, rather, that we have been doing in the last 100 days. Before we start off, we must know the purpose of the Esplanade, and I think you just indicated it. It is to provide a healthy and safe environment for a hub of socio-economic activities for the benefit of the economy of Tobago and all stakeholders involved. Who are our stakeholders? Our stakeholders will be the general, your local tourists and your international tourists, and of course your staff, and of course your vendors, the people who have to actually, provide the service to the public. So we are providing a service, and with that, there are a number of things that we have looked at, not only from now, but we looked back, we read. So when this board was appointed, something that we did research. We didn't start from ground zero, and I think that was good on our part, that we didn't just throw out everything and say, well, no, we come in and we know what we're doing. We looked back and we read the minutes from the last year and a half, to know what was already planned, and we looked at some of these plans and initiatives, and actually these are the plans and initiatives that you have been seeing implementing. It didn't just come up from the chairman saying or one board member saying. We looked at it strategically. We had several meetings. So first we started off with the first board meeting, and what was shocking to board is that a financial report came to us with the Esplanade tenants owing over $600,000.
As in collectively?
Collectively. Tenants.
For what period is this?
This is after COVID, right? You would be alarmed to know that we had persons there having a boot and the boot lock up for 3 years.
And this person is an active, if you can say active tenant,
No,
because
they lock up persons lock up the boot. You have no access to the boot, and stuff is in the boot. 3 years. Go on with the key. No communication. Esplanade trying to get on to them. Nothing. 3 years. All right. Well, those persons, we did get on to them. They moved their stuff out in 1 week. Because one thing that the board did, we hired an attorney. When we read the minutes and we saw what was happening there, we realized, okay, persons have been taking advantage of the relaxed environment.
But what are the regulations in terms of being a vendor at the Esplanade? In terms of, because I can't see that you have a vending booth and nobody's accessing it. So I really want to know what the regulations are.
Enforcement comes from, well, it's 2 steps. So the enforcement will come from a board giving the instruction to the staff to go ahead, to the management of the Esplanade to go ahead if it's to get persons out, or it will come from the policymaker saying this needs to happen. When we came in, one of the things that they said is get that Esplanade up and running. And when we looked at it, we went through the documentation, we realized a number of things were not happening because of a relaxed environment. Tenants basically became complacent and is do I want. We have had persons in arrears, for example, from since as far as 2017, right? Chronic bad debtors, not paying. COVID came. You gave Adana a waiver. Rent gone. After COVID.
Not this one. Not this Adana. Let's just put that out there.
Well, let me use a placeholder name of Ronald Wood. He's always quarrel at every time on Saturdays we call in his name. So let's use Ronald Wood. Ronald Wood got a waiver during COVID. Right? So rent taken care of. After COVID, Ronald Wood got another waiver. Good? How it is that after that, Ronald Wood went back to not paying his rent. So you have people owing 10 months, 1 year, 2 years, almost 2.5 years.
This is, so in terms of accountability, monitoring and evaluating and doing the checks and the follow-ups, I'm trying to get some information and I'm trying to understand how this was permitted and allowed.
We were trying to understand.
But is this the case for one particular vendor, or was it like
this is a general overview of what we met.
Right.
So after the first board meeting, of course, we went to the next step. We had a meeting with the staff because we want to know, well, what is happening on the ground? What are your suggestions? The goods, the don'ts, what the case may be. So we met with staff. That meeting went pretty well. And one of the things we realized is that the staff, when you look at the staff quarters and even the staff washrooms, staff and public were using the same washrooms. Right? So we had to make some changes. And one of the changes was we had to lock off one of the washroom facilities to say, this is for staff. Some persons called and said, well, how we can use the toilet. I said, but the compound is so unique that we have toilets on both sides, right? But nobody wants to walk, right? I said, well, I'd rather the public be a little bit upset with me, right? But the staff have to have some way that they could use, right?
They must be comfortable in the space.
The staff has to be comfortable in the space, and we have to respect that, right? So that has been done. So the persons in the public, yes, I know a lot of people boast that the Esplanade has the cleanest toilet. Yes, we do. The staff at the Esplanade it takes pride in doing their jobs. So let me just say this morning that well done to you guys. I see them over there maintaining, cutting the grass, cleaning up with the case of me. So by the time you reach there, 8, 10 o'clock in the morning, you have a clean compound. All right, so we met with the staff. After that, we met with the tenants. And at the tenants meeting, I would say it went well. Persons were expressing, for example, different things they weren't getting approvals for. Would it be to put up an awning, to put in the whole grease unit for them to do their kitchen in the kitchen area. Persons asked for their boots to be painted, and it was good. At the end of that meeting, I said to the tenancy persons and other board members who were present, we are owing, you all are owing the Esplanade over $600,000. please go to the office and make a 50% down payment on your arrears. That is all. Right. Now, because of the relaxed environment that we have there,
You kind of stir the pot with that, right?
Good. And this is me being soft by saying that, because when we checked back on our research, tenants were receiving letters in 2023. You had tenants receiving letters in May, in July, in August, in December, saying, hey, you're owing me money, come and pay it. And they were ignoring the tenancy rent. They were ignoring the office. They're not paying. Right? So I came again on top of that and said, after all these letters, plus in 2024, they got another letter. So in some cases, persons had 5 letters saying, Ronald Wood, you're owing me this, come and pay the money. They ignored all. We had the tenancy meeting. The board then said to them, go and pay 50% on your arrears. And 2 persons responded. 2 persons responded.
How many tenants do you have? Can you recall, or just approximately?
I think it was about 17 then.
And of the 17, only 2 responded.
2 responded. So those 2 are still there, right?
So when you say those 2 are still there, where are the other 15?
No, the others are still there, right?
Just for clarity.
1 or 2 had to move out, because by the second board meeting, this board, we'll try to help as much as possible, but there's only so far you can do. So by the second board meeting, we served persons with letters. Some got letters basically saying with some lower bills, come and
settle,
pay your debt, and also do a payment plan. So we're still being lenient. Others, they got a notice to quit, where we have said, listen, we no longer want to do business with you. The contract has been terminated. All right? So,
in the Tobago space, because Tobago is so small and community oriented, serving someone a letter to quit sometimes can be controversial. Whether the person is right or whether you are right, there will be some conversation around it. We have seen it in the past with so many different organizations, whether it be government agencies or private agencies. Once you are served a letter to quit, especially if you have a time frame in which to quit, there is some sort of conversation, because, as you mentioned before, people get a little relaxed and comfortable in doing, what they're doing. So how is that being handled, and how did your vendors respond to the letter?
Well, when that letter reached vendors, it's when you saw persons now starting to find the office and pay. People start to find board members or the chairman's number. And based on the letter you got, the board has the right to negotiate or not negotiate. Some tenants, because of how they have operated in the past, we had to say, listen, we ain't having no conversation. You have to do what the letter say. Right? In less than a month, we collected over 200,000. Also, in less than that month, we got the tenants that were there who had their place locked up for 3 years as a storage facility. That's probably, I guess, life happened. Things happened with persons, and they decided I can't continue this anymore. They didn't say anything to the Esplanade. They came and they collected the items, right? The attorney, of course, we served them letters, and that ran smoothly, right? So we got back those places. 2 weeks to the end of for persons to leave. What we also did, we opened up for new persons to come in and register to see whatever. One of the things we looked at is everybody was applying to sell food. All right? Everybody was applying to do a bar. All right? And we said, no, the Esplanade needs variety.
That's right.
It needs variety, because we are not, if you look at let's look at Barbados. Barbados model could work because of the heavier influx that they will have. Right? Our thing is, we are also providing for the local market, right, as well as the diaspora, and then the tourist comes, especially for the cruise ship. So we had to now say, look, we need variety. We may not need so much of food stuff, but let's see what people would come up with. So last week, we closed off, and of course, this board, we appreciate the time span, and we met last week Friday. board members met, and we looked at the tenants that are there, and we have some new tenants that will get some approvals or phone calls from the office this week. Some of the things include what I spoke earlier about the Biashara, the merch store, and the merch store is important. And this idea was actually from the previous board, right? So it's not that we come in and just decide to go, right? The previous board had these things in their minutes, and we looked at it and said, okay, let's pull it out. The name of this store actually came from the staff. Right, Biashara is Swahili for merch, and I said, hey, we love it. Also this week we are launching our official phone line for the merch store. It's 25 merch, right? So we will be pushing, because when the tourists come there, you have to make the place a hub.
That's right.
Right, and when they come, we want them to get everything. The coconut vendor that is outside there, in front that you see there, who is vending illegally, all right, he will come in onto the Esplanade, and he will now be paying a rent. Right, you would also see Playway booth. We're in the final stages. You have the Cambio, which is the money exchange. You have a breakfast station coming, a hairdresser, a nail tech, a cafe.
So the Esplanade is now becoming the hub that it was meant to be.
Correct. Right, and with that, it will take some pushing and nudging. I know last week, I took what I smiled about is when you have staff telling you, Chairman, what are you doing there? We're glad to know, you know, long we're trying to get these things done. Right, people to come out, people to come in. So we are working together, right? The staff booth, the staff on the Esplanade actually have been doing a lot of the work for us to get this stuff done. And you would be within the last 3 months, we have collaborated with at least 9 THE entities. Right? As I always say, I do multitask, I just hypertask. So as the board say, hey, we need this. Okay, cool. We go call the state agency here. We go call it, and that helped us to keep the price down. Right? So far we have not touched our funds. Tenancy pays their arrears. The arrears have been used to do things on the Esplanade. So for example, 211 came in, we partnered with them, they came in and they were doing the relocation of some network cables. That has happened. CPEP is coming this week, so we'll be doing some revitalization of the lawn. Because when I look at the lawn and I look at Carnival, I said we need the lawn to be looking very, very green, right? For when persons like Ronell and them on the street misbehaving. Yes, Ronell, I will start to call Biana. Right?
Mr. McKenna, I appreciate all that is going on. Based on the conversation we're having now at the Esplanade, we can see that the Esplanade is going to be coming alive. But we can't end this conversation without speaking about something that transpired, I believe, last week that came into the public space. The I Love Tobago sign.
Yes.
Being relocated to the Esplanade space. And it's everybody has an opinion. You know, when you put something in the open space, especially in social spaces where you can hide behind a camera, you can hide behind your phone or whatever, you are very vocal. And so a lot of people have said what they have to say where this is concerned, and you are defending the idea behind moving it. Some of the things include the safety of persons trying to take a photograph there, and of course, you know, the fact that now it is going to be placed in a place where they can go safely, they won't have to be battling with traffic and stuff like that. So I want to get into that conversation, moving the sign from where it is to where you are proposing for it to be.
So we're talking sense and sense. All right? So let me talk with sense. The safety concern from all of us in Tobago. We have all passed there and seen tourists trying to get a perfect photograph and they're running out in the road. And if you just glimpse to your left, you bounce down somebody, right? And if we look at where these signs are traditionally placed in other countries, they're usually placed in the center of some economic activity to draw the crowd there. There's a reason for that, right? So it doesn't make sense to have an Esplanade where you want tourists to go, you want people to go, and you place the attraction outside of the Esplanade, right? You're losing money. Added to which, when the sign is out there, who is maintaining it, right? So that is sense, right? Minority Leader Kelvin Morris, that is sense. Because it's you post it, right?
Mr. McKenna.
Let me go in. No. Let me go in, because you see, we have to think now. What the man make he post?
Mr. McKenna,
All right,
let's keep the conversation here.
So let me go to the sense part. I know in the past, the THA will pay a contractor to do regular maintenance. If it's to wash down that sign order two times or 3 times a week, right? If the sign is moved onto the Esplanade, right, that contract is no longer needed because we have staff on the Esplanade.
And that becomes part of their duties.
And that can become part of their duties simply by same how they would clean the facility and cut the lawn, you put on the hose and you wash down the sign, right? That is the sense part. Good. Let me go to the next part. Where the sign is not being maintained. The base rotting out, the lights gone. If it comes onto the Esplanade, the persons there can simply maintain a light. We have a person that is can do electrical duties there. We also have the base is going to be a concrete base, and with that concrete base, less maintenance. The cost has dropped to maintain, right? Added to which the crowd that was going in the road, taking the pictures, the risk is removed, and the crowd is coming on the Esplanade. When the crowd comes on the Esplanade, who does it not benefit? Who does it benefit? The Tobagonians, the merch store, the coconut vendor, the Cambio exchange, all these services that you want the tourists to access, right? I saw someone talk about parking, but where is the parking for where the present sign is? There is none. But guess what? I don't know if Tobago Updates has the image, right? The PNM built a car park for the Esplanade, right outside the Port Mall, right? Look at there. That car park holds more than 20 spots. So in terms of parking, we know where the sign is located. It is in closer proximity to a car park that was underutilized. That car park will be fully operationalized, right? So we'll be able to handle the traffic, and it will also be a paid car park. So we're talking sense and sense, right? What was the last part with the sign? I heard person saying put it on the fort. That's a very good idea, you know, right? That's a very good idea. But we will never have, if you're putting it on the fort, benefits who? Yes, for a photographer, you get the perfect shot. And then what after? Then what after? Who is
no
going?
Income.
Where is who is maintaining? So if today or tomorrow we end up back in a financial crisis and the THA is not able to supply to pay that contractor, who is going to be paying for the maintenance of the sign on the fort? What are the safety measures or the risk involved in putting the sign there when somebody climb up? Right? The best place to put the sign is on the Esplanade to drive economic activity based on the mandate for the Esplanade.
Mr. McKenna, one thing I appreciate about you is your passion whenever you're given a task. And we've seen, we have a track record, and we've seen the history of your work. And so, you know, at this point in time, we have to bring this conversation to a close. And what I want to say to you is to continue doing what you have to do, and with the same passion, and all the best. I'm looking actively to see what is happening there at the Esplanade and to see how it is being used and to see it transform into the hub that it is supposed to be. I'm giving you 30 seconds in closing to wrap this conversation.
Well, feel free to pass through and start to check out our booths. You will be seeing a difference on the Esplanade. The staff, of course, is there and ready to greet you. You will be seeing new tenants coming on board shortly. And we'll also be doing some further upgrades leading straight down into Christmas. All right, our car park will be open from this week.
All right, absolutely amazing. And if you thought you were going to get off without me asking you the cost, of course, relocating the sign to the Esplanade.
Just over 100,000.
Okay, well, sense and sense. So we'll wait and see, you know.
From tenancy arrears.
Okay. Again, they're justifying the move. You know, all the best there at the Esplanade. I do hope that, of course, it is well received by our patrons, our public, our vendors, and all the stakeholders who are involved there at the Esplanade. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Kevin McKenna, chairman there at the Milford Road Esplanade here in Scarborough, Tobago. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations this morning. And as we go for a break, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
I'm so relieved Javel gave me this money. Now I could enjoy the holidays with my family and not have to worry about monies for bags, books, and shoes.
Javel? Who is Javel? She could give me some money too?
Javel is the July-August vacation education loan at Bethel Credit Union. up to 20,000 to help with all additional expenses during this July-August.
Yes, you heard right. Call the Bethel Credit Union and ask for Javel. She'll hook you up with the money to take care of all your additional expenses this holiday season. Open to new members too. Get up to $20,000 and have a worry-free holiday with Javel. Call 639-8226 or 631-1336 or message us on Facebook for more information.
Stop. You don't have to sneak in. You don't have to sneak. Pigeon Point security, we have access pass. You don't have to sneak in.
What access pass is that?
The new Pigeon Point Breaking Beach access card. With this card, you can get free access to Pigeon Point, a free umbrella, and a free chair. So make sure you get your Pigeon Point access card.
I can get that?
Definitely. This is your access card, so you can now go into Pigeon Point.
Okay. Guys, we outside in Pigeon Point, sun and sand, and we enjoying it with we access cards. All social media links to Youth Voice and Pigeon Point would be tagged, and stay tuned for it.
Attention all talented individuals and groups in Tobago. This is your moment to shine. Showcase your skills in music, dance or drama at Tobago Star Quest. Prelim auditions are held every Sunday across various communities throughout Tobago. Seize the chance to win exciting prizes and demonstrate your talent. For more details, visit our Instagram page at tobago.star.quest or email tobagostarquest@gmail.com. We look forward to seeing you there.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kumbi. Thank you for staying with us. We continue conversation this morning and we speak with Mr. Alan Stewart, and he is the director of TEMA as we speak about preparations for October Carnival here in Tobago. Good morning, Mr. Stewart, and welcome.
Hi, good morning. It's good being here, and we're happy to be able to communicate where we are in terms of preparations for Carnival as it relates to the risks involved with the festivity.
That's right. And you know, the Carnival is in its third edition. And so, of course, you've had your opportunity to make your assessments from the two previous years so that you can make your strategies to implement as you move forward. I want to talk a little bit about how it started off and, you know, the things that you saw you had to improve on or include in terms of your strategic plan to roll out to manage the risks that might be involved in hosting an event of this nature on the island.
Exactly. Since 2005, the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, previously known as NEMA, saw the necessity based on the risks associated with such a festivity. So as early as that time, we set out what you call a joint command post exercise where we bring four major groups together, law enforcement and also health, medical, and also safety as it relates to these festivities. When the risk assessment, there's a sort of a continuum where when you do the risk assessment for these mega events such as Carnival, there are certain risk that jumps out at you almost immediately. One, you're dealing with a massed event of people assembling sometimes in large groups. And also we have learned over the years that some of the incidents that we have seen, medical incidents, it has become necessary to maintain and to improve going forward. We have seen people gyrating on top of trucks. Sometimes it's important. These ladies sometimes feel that it's quite important for them to be seen, and sometimes they're not acquainted with some of the risk factors involved, such as over low-hanging wires. We have recognized that to be a threat to that type of behavior. Sometimes you're facing the music or facing the crowd and not realizing that you have a low line hanging. Sometimes they try to hold the lines, things like that. So we recognize all that. We have seen people falling from trucks. We have seen where trucks roll over persons' feet. And we also saw where a number of different incidents, medical incidents happen. We have seen the necessity since during the period where you had the Tobago Fest, that violence is one of the given reasons why it was suspended. However, it's an important element on our calendar, and therefore we have seen the necessity to improve it using IAs or CCTV systems, which have worked quite well. You monitor crowd behaviors. You're able to see where incidents are sparking. You see somebody push somebody, the next person push them back. That is something you could actually notify law enforcement. Here we have somewhat unrest taking place in a particular area. And then you have the public health issues. For example, pre the event, there are persons that sometimes fit associated with the festival, or even stands or infrastructure that becomes important, so that the infrastructure itself provide safety to those persons who are utilizing those facilities, such as stage, and different type of appurtenances belonging to those areas. You also have public health issues in the area where food sales are made. Persons, we have had several complaints. So it's what we have been doing as we recognize these risk factors is bringing these major players from these four critical groups together. As I said, law enforcement, then you have the fire service looking at these infrastructure as to how they are done, whether they are engineering applied to it. Then you bring in the TN techs that will look at overhead lines, and that is a mess in the country right now, especially in Tobago, where you have a number of the poles in Tobago are used as waste baskets, where lines are just there. A drunkard could hold them, pull them down. A truck could be pulling them down. So it's important that we bring these players together and pre the event itself and look at how we can mitigate where we cannot prevent. So that has been going quite well. The public health issues we would have dealt with food preparation. It was critically important that we start early discussions with some of these players. One will recall that even right recently in the third edition, or by the second edition of the festivity, we were able to walk the parade ground with the ACP, who was set up as a goal commander for the event, and we were able to do inspection with people like DIQUD. For example, the whole thing about is making the Tobago Carnival one of the safest festivals in the world. And I think that it is something that is doable. We have been demonstrating that. We have seen a drastic reduction of violence in our carnival here in Tobago as a result of the work of law enforcement joining these particular events. You have also lost and found, where sometimes I commonly say that we find the children. The children is not the problem. I think the parents are lost. And sometimes, so we have the children and then we're looking for the parents. So to me, it's just the parents being lost. They don't know where the child is, but they are safe and sound. So we have put in these pieces through this joint command post, and it has been borrowed from Tobago since 2005. It's now been done in Trinidad as well, where you're having these venue operations centers setting up in such a way to coordinate these risks that may involve people. It may lend itself to, in most cases, anthropogenics, but we are quite aware that in these events, there is always the possibility that you could have an event where it could be disturbed by a natural disaster, and therefore you require a mass evacuation of Scarborough. I remember ACP Moore, we used to be planning to do something every year at the end of the festivity to do an evacuation of Scarborough. In some pieces, they try to simulate it by moving out when they shut down the music. These lines across the road and move out the crowd as quickly as possible. But this is still something to be done. You know, we have emergency plans for Scarborough, emergency evacuation plans for Scarborough, muster points set up, established. We want to use this opportunity to allow the public to understand that in the midst of these festivities, there's a need for safety as well.
And, you know, as you're talking about, you know, evacuating large crowds, sometimes, especially for events like Carnival, where people, of course, they drink and, you know, they're not really in their natural self.
That's right.
And so,
when gypsies too.
That's right. That's right. You know, I know you're trying to move them. Let's say something happens and you're trying to move them all together in one particular, move them out, evacuate. How has that been? I mean, I know you said it's still to be done, but how does TEMA and the other agencies position themselves to manage an unruly crowd?
It comes through pre-planning. One of the things that we recognize is that the injector is that of music. Strange enough. You stop the music and a man stop balancing.
Or he might start quarreling while you stop the music.
That's right. But the important thing is that we have improve as we move along. So we have not just through the THA would have set up the festival commissions over the years, and we have included them in early planning. As a matter of fact, they set the pace for our planning activities through our after action review, or what they call AARs. We have established that it require, as we look for a service improvement plan, that it's important that we engage our stakeholders as early as possible. And that lends itself to the involvement of the band associations, those people who are involved in carrying out the mass, the band leaders, the fetters, the importance of bringing in the licensing authority into the whole picture, so that trucks and other players or interest groups can understand what is expected of them. The necessity you will see during these weeks ahead, that you will see a line of professional experts coming to forums like these or platforms like these to educate the public as to what to expect. So while we are talking things like food safety, it's important that the very public understand exactly what to look for, what not to do. And therefore, we talk to the band leaders, for example, when to cut the music. The DJs with an understanding that, listen, for example, the proximity of the hospital, what to expect. How do we find a medium ground as to what to create the right type of balance in terms of behaviors? So I think we are set to go. We are in the stage of finalizing our plans for procurement. We have recognized that with the procurement becoming a major challenge in preparations, especially when you're operating in an environment where resources are becoming aged, and therefore you have to replace them, and some of these fall under an item called minor equipment. It's important that we understand where our assets are, how we need to get them, and start the early planning. So we are in that stage right now where we are conducting those plans. We have had about 3 meetings so far for the Carnival with the stakeholders involved, and therefore we are finalizing those plans to ensure that we continue with the mantra as, you know, making this place the greatest little island in paradise, and also ensuring that we have the finest and the most safe Carnival in the region.
And while we plan, assessing all the risk and put all the strategies in place for implementation, there's something that recently surfaced. I'm not sure how popular it is yet, but I came across some information that said, we're in the rainy season now. Our carnival usually there's a lot of rain.
Yes.
But we're in the height of the rainy season and we're not getting any rain. We're hardly seeing the rain. In fact, it's so hot day and night and the sun is blistering. Has any consideration been given to we're going to have revelers on the street, masqueraders, during the daytime in the blazing hot sun, should there be no rain? In terms of health and safety and maintaining hydration and stuff, is there any conversation around that topic in terms of ensuring masqueraders, band leaders, and all the persons who are involved protect themselves and prepare their bodies for taking the road and probably having to endure treacherous heats at this time?
Yes, certainly. As I said, the one of the I call it the Pentagon of disaster management when we look at what obtains in the cycle. So there are areas where you do prevention. There are areas where it's important to do mitigation, preparedness, and response. While what we signal point towards these responses, emergency responses, I think these discussions, whether utilization of forums such as these, is all intended to allow the populace or the will-be masquerader or reveler or onlooker or special needs persons attending to understand how to treat with these risk factors as we bring them to the forefront. Because sometimes it requires a sense of awareness. Sometimes people just need a reminder. Things that, as you say, if you understand the, alcohol sometimes poses a threat to even keeping you hydrated. It takes away a lot of body fluids in a particular manner. And therefore, it's important that one take care of themselves. There has been an upbeat now, persons preparing themselves for the fatigue that their bodies will come under. The route is a pretty challenging one, I must say. And as you said, the weather today, these days are very hot, but as I said, there are those natural hazards that we always have to prepare for. October Carnival falls greatly in the hurricane season, and if not a hurricane, there will always be the possibility of severe weather events. So you may have infrastructure that could become kites in an emergency such as that could bring not only damages to person, but also in the absence of persons, you could have debris flying around the place. So that is how important it is to create that sense of balance. And I think we are doing what we know is best in the sense of engagement and the collaboration between stakeholders, bringing them to the table and have these discussions where they can go back and speak to their members of their bands. And also outside of that, I remember at our last 2 meetings, it was pointed out that while we are strongly focusing on bands, there are just the revelers. People who don't want to be subject to any control of ban or anything like that. They are the guy who will just drink to the extreme where he sleep out the whole carnival on the pavement, in the drain, and the risks of these things, what can happen. So we are encouraging the general public, whoever you are out there, all things in moderation, all things in moderation. Don't lose your senses during these activities where you throw all caution to the wind and cause yourself, your family. It's important that, there are the deviants in the society that utilize the miscreants who will use these events to bring harm to either your property or yourself. And you have, it's important that we understand that safety not only speak to what is happening within the route of Carnival, but also when you abandon your vehicles, you make sure that you have them locked. You don't leave items on your back seats that may create attractions in your vehicles that may cause one to secure it, in a particular manner. Your children, you make sure that there's always a possibility that you may be carried away by the music and forget that and the child may just wander away looking at something very colorful as well, and you become separated. So it's important to sometimes allow the child to be able to, in these kind of frightening scenarios, to be able to identify themselves, a telephone number, things like that they can call, maybe in their back pocket. Things they will be asked their name, who is your parents, things like that. And so the infrastructure in Carnival becomes very important, where we have used the old FCB car park as the Joint Command Operations Center, where an AMP is set up for advanced medical posts. We also have a mobile command unit that will be there to allow for effective coordination among all of the various disciplines, from law enforcement and those 4 areas that I spoke earlier about. So we are urging the general public to do their part to ensure that, once again, that we have the safest carnival in the region.
That's right. And sometimes it comes with a personal responsibility.
Yes.
As you were talking about, sometimes there might be the reveler who doesn't want to be in a band, and he might just spend his time sleeping on the pavement, as you said. And of course you have to take that personal responsibility for your space, be aware of where you are and stuff like that. So I really do, I know that the role that TEMA plays. I know the role that all the stakeholders who are coming together to ensure the safety of this carnival. I know the importance and the significance that you play in ensuring that we remain safe. And I want to ask you this one question. I never thought about it before until you were speaking. In your experience, and from your wealth of knowledge, if you were to make an assessment and we only had the resources or the finances to have one particular resource available to ensure safety, what would that one thing be that you would say we cannot have the carnival or any activity without implementing this particular thing?
Effective communications. Simple. Communications is the key to all of it. It's the glue that brings everybody together. It's the one thing that connects through the atmosphere, the anosphere, and the different spheres, of this space that we think is a space. And there are major players. Sometimes things happen. We cannot, if you look at the uptake in violence, you recognize that extremism is becoming a very challenging thing for law enforcement. And therefore, communication is the key to stay in one place and be able to communicate with each other almost instantaneously. And so it's if you're stripped down to zero, it's the first thing that we lend our thoughts to. Effective communications. We talk about the 4 C's and the 1 P. So when I speak about the Pentagon of disaster management, command and control, communications and coordination and effective planning are those 4 C's and the 1 P.
Absolutely amazing. And of course, I endorse that fully, especially being a communications practitioner. I endorse that 100%. And I want to continue to wish you and your team the best, all the stakeholders who are coming together to assist in ensuring we have a safe space for Carnival, not just for Carnival, but for everything that happens on the island of Tobago. I know there's an involvement from TEMA there, and I want to wish you the best. I pray the grace for you, because I know it's going to be sleepless nights putting things together, ensuring that they're implemented well. So all the best there to you and the entire team. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been speaking with Mr. Alan Stewart, the director of TEMA, as we speak about preparedness for Carnival in October here in Tobago this year, 2024. He spoke us through the plans and the strategies that are going to be implemented and the things that are going to be available and accessible to all those who are going to be participating in the events here on the island. Of course, we're so happy that you stayed with us right till the very end. And this is where we have to end the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. But it's not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT. So stay with us. And as you stay with us, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
The title Creative Calabash is TPAC's Children and Youth Programming Arm, where we use arts and performance to create opportunities for outreach, for competency and capacity building, as well as space just to teach children about all things, not just performing arts, but things cultural, things heritage, things legacy. So this year is our second iteration of Creative Calabash, and it is a 2-week vacation camp. And the theme for this year is Arts Plode, which is Arts and Explosion, because we're specifically exploring arts of the imagination and play, traditional play and contemporary play, as entries into teaching the discipline.
It's been going very good, and we are having a showcase at the end of camp, and we are now rehearsing, and it has been very good.
What would you say has been your favorite part so far?
Everything.
Dance, film?
We don't do film, and I'm very sad about that because I wanted to try out a camera, but it does happen.
We have just about 60 children, and ranging from ages 4 to 17. And in the camp, the children are divided across 4 age ranges. So they're basically grouped in accordance with the age range: 4 to 7, 8 to 10, 11 to 13, and 14 plus. And I mean, I say this without fear of contradiction. One of the advantages of Creative Calabash is that children get to experience the widest variety of performing arts under one roof.
Our age group has dance, and we have creative free play, where we have to be creative and we have to express our emotions. The visit to the dirt oven made me know more about how our history is and how they make these delicious foods to each other.
Second year going to the camp, and I feel like I learned more than last year, which is fun. I love to learn about performing arts. I started to learn about the traditional dances here in Tobago. I've never danced the Coco before, and I started to learn it a couple of weeks now, which is good because as a Trinidadian, I came here to live a couple of years back and I didn't learn anything. And now that I'm starting to learn it properly, I'm very happy about that.
What about if you all have on just the... We are so deeply invested in creating opportunities where children get to know not just about the space or the island's cultural prowess, but also about themselves. And so the ethos of the camp is also about social development, because we want to deal with things like social values, sharing, fair play. How do I become a good citizen? How do I contribute meaningfully? How, as a Tobagonian child, how do I show up in space? How can I share my voice to help others? So that has been our focus. It has been a beautiful 2 weeks. The TPAC team works so very hard. The aunties and the uncles, 100% credit to them. They are the people who really carry the camp on their backs.
Excellent. The children love to play. I love to play. We all love to play. And they are very eager to learn about Tobago, and they're very eager to learn about all the cultural things that could happen here.
Camp has been going amazing. It has been the best experience. Last year I didn't get to come, and I'm so glad I got to come this year because it has been an amazing experience. We play a bunch of games and they teach us our heritage through these games. So it make it fun for the little children, and it also make it fun for me. The greatest part have been film and dance. I never knew I was into film until I tried it, and like we now came from making a documentary, but we mocking it kind of in a funny way. We made it funny, and it was really nice to go through that experience. I never knew I could actually learn my lines and actually deliver it in front of a camera and not have stage fright and not be scared, and it was actually really fun. This camp has opened up my experiences and made me do things that I never knew I could have done.
I am really enjoying myself. This whole experience has been new to me. I am now learning more about Tobago's culture, and I'm a dancer, so I love to know more about my heritage and where I came from, so that when I get older I can teach my kids about our heritage.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And whenever you see you sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez stressed the urgent need for energy reform in Trinidad and Tobago due to Tobago's rising energy demands. At the launch of the 15-kilowatt solar PV system at Charlottesville Methodist School, he warned that Tobago could face an energy shortage within 5 years if it continues to expand at its current pace. Gonzalez highlighted the financial strains of electricity and water subsidies. With over $4 billion owed to the National Gas Company, Gonzalez advocated for a shift to renewable energy and emphasized the need for infrastructure investment to secure Tobago's long-term energy security. Additionally, Anturum Lewis from Bishop's High School, Tobago, placed second at the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Regional Tourism Youth Congress 2024. The competition occurred in Cayman Islands. Lewis competed against 12 other Caribbean youth representatives and impressed the judges with her insightful speech on the blue economy. She proposed 3 innovative projects: a digital underwater heritage museum showcasing Tobago's marine history via virtual reality, the Marine Miracle Project, converting sargassum into biodegradable plastic, and Tobago Blue Guardian, an AI-powered marine monitoring system. Her ideas emphasized environmental sustainability and the future of responsible tourism. And finally, Rachel Questeles of Tobago, representing Encore Dance Theatre, was crowned Miss Lauren Rivet 2024 at the Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy competition. Questeles also copped the Best Gong, Best Talent, and Best Self-Expression categories of the competition. And that was on news in 90 seconds.
The CONCACAF Nations League, Tuesday, 10th September. Trinidad and Tobago will face French Guyana at the Dwight York Stadium. Tobago, the Stars will be on the field. Kickoff, 7 p.m. sharp. Be there to see the battle unfold. Time to represent our national pride. TNT, this September. It's time to rally again. The CONCACAF Nations League.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. This morning we're talking all things football. And as we have that conversation this morning, I have in studio with me Mr. Everton Alfred, who is the president of the Tobago Football Association, as well as Mr. Sean Fuertes, who is the director of communications and the media at the TTFA. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good
morning. So this morning we are talking CONCACAF, right? And we are looking at the under 14, if I'm not mistaken. So tell us a bit about that competition, Mr. Alfred.
All right, just a little correction. We're talking CONCACAF, yes, but we're talking Nations League football, and this is where the senior guys are playing. The CONCACAF under 14 recently completed in Tobago here, and that was a wonderful experience. But we're now going to the big guys, and I would like to say that this is now showtime, because we're looking forward to not only a good game, but Tobago is looking forward to seeing the son of the soil showcase his talent in front of his audience for the first time in a competitive game of this nature. And I would here really to urge Tobago to come out to really support not only Showtime, but support our national team, because they do need the support now. This game is important to us. French Guyana we're going to be playing against, and we need the win, and we need the 12th man, which is the crowd.
Right. And tell us, what does this mean for Tobago with this match happening?
All right. Well, what it means to Tobago is the opportunity for all of Tobago to see football at the highest level of CONCACAF. Over the years, we've always had to journey to Trinidad to witness our national team play, witness some of the stars who were selected in the national team. Here's the opportunity now to be at home in Tobago and to just have to journey to the Dwight York Stadium. So it means a lot, one, in terms of your expenditure, but more than that, it means a lot for the young footballers. They have the opportunity now to see football at this level. They have something that they can now reflect on 5 years from now and say, listen, I want to be part of the national team in 5 years or 10 years' time. So therefore, it's a wonderful opportunity for all of Tobago.
Mr. Fuertes, tell us, can we look forward to more of these games being played in Tobago? And what was a part of the conceptualization that led to us having it here?
Definitely. It's interesting that in your news updates a few minutes ago, you spoke about the demand for high energy in Tobago. And we at the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, we've recognized that Tobago is, it's a beautiful sister isle, and you've produced so many icons in this small island. Obviously, Dwight York being at the top, at the helm. And the fact is that over the years, we've heard the cries from Tobagonians for more football, more international football to be played in Tobago. And as you mentioned earlier, the CFU U14 boys took place just a few weeks ago, and that was the U14 championship. And the Tier 1 group, which comprised of Jamaica, the eventual champions, and Trinidad and Tobago, was held here in Tobago, and that's because the TTFA recognized the importance of bringing these sort of events to Tobago. This is also the second CONCACAF Nations League match that we are hosting here in just under 2 years. Previously, we would have played the League B playoff against Nicaragua. That was played at the Dwight York Stadium. And this game tomorrow is of huge significance, partly because we're coming off a defeat to Honduras in the earlier game played about 3 days ago. And this game is very significant because we are looking to bounce back. We need to get the win. And we are asking Tobago to bring the energy to the Dwight York Stadium tomorrow at 7 p.m. In saying that also, to go back to your question, we do have that indication or that interest in bringing more football to Tobago. Right now, the TTFA is in discussions with CONCACAF to bring more of these youth championships to Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, once that is approved and finalized, you are going to be seeing some of these teams come into Tobago to play in other group phases, maybe later this year and also in 2025.
All right. And where can persons get tickets to the game?
Right, so at this moment, you can get tickets online at islandetickets.com and also in Tobago. They're being sold at Jade Monkey, also at Pub House, Lowlands. You can get it at the Cachet outlets as well. So there are several outlets that you can go onto the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association Facebook page and Instagram page, where you'll see a series of outlets where tickets are being sold. And tickets will also be sold at the venue tomorrow evening. Obviously, kickoff is at 7 p.m. So we're asking the fans to come out early. Don't wait until 5 to 7 to try to get there, because we know there's going to be some traffic. And we want to feel the energy in the Dwight York Stadium from at least an hour before the game, because we're really hoping to make the French Guiana team recognize that when they're there, they're in opposition territory, and that is one of the purpose of playing at home. We need to feel at home advantage. Our boys, skipper Aubrey David and also caretaker Derek King, are really looking forward to this encounter in Tobago tomorrow night.
All right, excellent. And Mr. Alfred, tell us, you indicated that the under 14 just concluded. Tell us how that went.
It was a really wonderful experience. The turnout was excellent. Of course, Tobago had 5 youngsters in that national team. I think they all acquitted themselves really well. And it really was a wonderful experience in terms of being able to be part of the organization of this event, because that too is a learning opportunity for us. And of course, this game presents the same thing going forward, and I think it's going to be positive.
All right, excellent. And what would you say would be your expectation from Tobagonians tomorrow? Outside of coming out, you told them come out, bring the energy, especially before the game. We need to intimidate the French Guianas. But tell us exactly, what are you expecting?
Well, of course, we want a full house. We know the stadium holds just under 8,000 persons. I think if we can get maybe 7,000 persons at the venue, just to ensure that, you feel that energy, as you mentioned. And we want to also show CONCACAF that when we host games in places like Tobago, we can fill a stadium, so that they will know for future events that it's worth the while bringing football of this caliber to the Twin Island Republic, especially in Tobago. In saying that, we arrived yesterday morning and we got a really warm reception. The team is based at the Starfish Hotel, and the reception there and the accommodation has been excellent so far. The boys will be training this morning, and also this evening the official training session takes place at the Dwight York Stadium. So it starts now. It's not just about when the opening whistle take place tomorrow night, but the game and preparation for the game is ongoing right now, and we're feeling good energy, and we want to appeal to the Tobagonians as well. And we also know that there are some fans from Trinidad coming over for tomorrow's game, so we also want the Trinidadian fans to get a feel of what it is to be in Tobago for a game of this nature. So that's what we're really asking for. Bring that 12-man support, and from our perspective, from our side of the team, we are going to give all that energy on the pitch as well.
All right, and persons can still buy tickets at the Dwight York Stadium once they get there on time.
Yes, so we anticipate a decent walk-up crowd tomorrow evening. So if you don't get the tickets at the outlets prior to that, you can show up in Bacolet and you'll have tickets available at the venue tomorrow night.
All right, what are the tiers of tickets that are being sold?
Right, so there are 2 sections. Obviously, there's the covered section that's going to be sold for $150 and $75 for kids, and the uncovered is going to be $150 for kids.
All right, well, you heard it here, guys. As you know, the game is going to be kicking off at 7 p.m. So what time are persons expected to be seated?
We want fans to show up at the venue by at least 6 p.m., 5:45 p.m. And I also want to mention as well that we spoke earlier about recognizing Tobago and the part that Tobago has to play. There will be a special presentation at halftime as well, where the TTFA, led by President Karen Edwards, they're going to recognize 4 icons of Tobago football, led by the Honorable, I would want to use the word Honorable Bertil Sinclair. He's going to be one of those persons being recognized at halftime. So we're inviting the Tobago public as well to come out and acknowledge this at halftime tomorrow in the match.
All right, so you heard it here, guys. Tomorrow, kick off at 7 p.m. Get there as early as you possibly can to support the Trinidad and Tobago boys. We're going to take a break right here, and we'll be back with a lot more conversation. See you soon.
The CONCACAF Nations League, Tuesday, 10th September. Trinidad and Tobago will face French Guiana at the Dwight York Stadium. Tobago, the Stars will be on the field. Kickoff 7 p.m. sharp. Be there to see the battle unfold. Time to represent our national pride. TNT, this September, it's time to rally again. The CONCACAF Nations League.
Attention members, now is your chance to double or even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
Are you ready to optimize your wedding business for engagement season and book more clients? Refine is the place to be. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024 from 9 a.m. Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. This premier event is designed specifically for Caribbean wedding industry professionals. Gain expert insights, practical knowledge, and valuable connections that can help you thrive in the destination wedding market. Register now at refinesummit.com. It is time to refine. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Get insider info, advice, and insights from local, regional, and international players in the destination wedding market. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024, Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. It's time to refine.
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there, down in Tobago. Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. This morning, as we continue our conversations on all things happening here in Tobago, I have the pleasure of speaking with Assemblyman Trevor James, who is the Secretary for Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development. Now, we saw something happening last Friday where he held a press conference and narrated to the public all that was happening with regards to the licensing officers that came to his property. This morning, we're going to get a full-on perspective of everything that happened there. And just in case you haven't been caught up, this is your opportunity to do so. Good morning, Mr. James, and welcome.
Good morning, Chanel. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning to Tobagonians in Trinidad and Tobagonians across the world. It's a pleasure to be on Tobago Updates.
Right. And we see you came in the studio energized this morning, ready to go. You seem to still be in high spirits, and, I want to commend you for that. You came in here, with high energy, and that's good, especially, when there is a lot happening on a personal level. It can tend to, be a lot for any person. Even
it will take significantly more than this to change me. I tell someone on Friday that I accept at this time to function at 80%. And I believe on Friday I was at 85%. So I am ready to stand up for Tobago. I think we have for far too long been dormant and accepting any kind of action from people in Trinidad and so on. And I think the union as it is simply is not working for us, has not worked for us, and therefore will not work for us. It cannot be that we have laws that allow police officers who wish to investigate, in this case, something related to a vehicle, and can go to the court to seize a senior public servant's device, a device that would have personal information, banking information, financial information, work information, and have total access. And the desire of the court is to give police officers total access to essentially the life of an individual when they are investigating particulars of a vehicle.
But we
It
know
cannot
that
be that's
this is the nature of politics in Trinidad and Tobago. It would not be the first time that we've seen something like this happen. And we have heard even from the former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith, indicating that during his time as Commissioner of Police, you know, he had a lot of directives to pursue political opponents. And this feeds into how, you know, the state as well as the police are so deeply entangled. Tell us why you think that this was more of an attack on the THA as opposed to a personal attack against you.
Well, listen, my vehicle is 16 years old. 16 years, I'm the only owner of that vehicle. Those records are in the licensing department. I had the vehicle inspected. The licensing department issued an inspection sticker to the vehicle. And for some reason, our license officers from the other island appear to believe that some malfeasance of some sort went on, which could only mean that I, as secretary, had the authority to instruct a license officer or to request or to demand a favor of a license officer for a vehicle that is in pristine condition as far as I am concerned. That looks, everybody thinks it's a new vehicle, drives like a new vehicle. I've taken care of my vehicle over the years. And so this is not a question of whether my vehicle is road ready. This is a question of license officers and police officers from Port of Spain deciding that, you see, this guy, I'm going to target him. And it can't be that we continue to accept that kind of behavior from public servants in Trinidad. It just cannot be that.
One of the questions that I saw coming up a lot on social media, in the comment section, while the footage was out there, was that if they indeed did have sufficient evidence to get a warrant in regards to the vehicle, why were they only inspecting it upon getting to the property? So what type of evidence is it that they had to get the warrant in the first place?
Well, who knows? Who knows what the police have? The license officers don't go to the High Court for a warrant to inspect a vehicle. License officers can see the vehicle on the road. In this case, they could have written to me and said, listen, we've seen an anomaly in the inspection of your vehicle. We have a checklist and the officer made some errors and we want to re-inspect your vehicle. They could have done that if they so chose. And so they chose to come to my home to embarrass me. It's simple as that. In the full view of all my neighbors, to tell Tobago that, listen, this gentleman has been doing something wrong. And to come with police officers pretending to support license officers, when in fact, coming to issue a warrant to seize my devices and purporting to suggest that they come pertaining to the vehicle. In this country, as far as I'm aware, telephone providers are by law supposed to keep every recording of every conversation for 6 months. As far as I'm aware, that is the law. So if licensed officers who have government-issued telephones, it was easy for the license department in Trinidad and Tobago to say, listen, let's see the communication that you had. If you've had a communication with this gentleman that might have been, in some way suggest that he was trying to instruct. And the reality is that I cannot instruct a license officer. I certainly cannot go to the license office and demand a sticker be placed on my vehicle without going through the process. And this is a case where the vehicle went through the process. So it was never about that. It's an opportunity, just as the previous time, to embarrass THA officials, to seize THA official device, and to be able to have access to information that they ought not to have access to. And
How do you think this event has affected Tobagonians' view of the relationship between Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, I think I took this as a tipping point in the relationship. For me personally, I think Tobagonians are outraged. We have struggled, and this is going to be funny. We have struggled for years with one inspection agent in Sylvester's for years, but now there's one in Signal Hill. So maybe Tobagonians are happy that we have two. But seriously, this is an example, one of the series of examples that we have had since we've been in office, that is clearly saying to Tobagonians, if you don't stand up and take responsibility for what you have, you are going to lose all of it. If we don't stand up as Tobagonians, if we don't, Robinson went to the parliament in 1977-78, trying to fight for the rights, the freedoms, and justice for Tobagonians in this union that we have. 48 years later, we are still in the same fight. It can't be that we go continue to fight in the same way, and we will send two members from Tobago to the parliament in Trinidad, and we will beg, and we will try to curse, and we will wait to see what the parliament come up with. It can't be that. Certainly, that is tantamount to madness. You can't be doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And so the time for me has come to say, hey, time to draw the line in the sand as a Tobagonian, time to stand up and say, we want this thing changed. The licensing is a 5th schedule item. The licensing authority, under the law that we now have, is to be controlled by the THA, just as town and country planning, just as environment. And in the last 20 years, the government in Tobago has not taken up the responsibility. So it has fallen on us to try to do it. But there's so many things to fix that it can't be done in 4 years. Because those that went before us gave the authority away back to Trinidad. And so Tobagonians now have to grapple with this thing and decide, A, is this what we want or not? Because this is not about Trevor James.
How does one try to manage that situation now when licensing officers are being sent from Port of Spain to Tobago when Tobago has responsibility over transportation?
It's a difficult situation. Some of it must go to the court, I believe, because there are a lot of precedents that have been set in terms of how the management of licensing department has gone for years. But surely, we as a people must take all the rights that we have been given under the Constitution so far, and all the rights that we as individuals have. We can't be born on this part of the planet and someone else is controlling everything about us. I made a point previously about how Singapore came to independence, and that it took Singapore 6 years after requesting independence from Britain to actually be granted independence from Britain. 6 years to be given the right to control, given the freedom, the rights, and the justice required for them to control their own selves. We are begging P&M essentially in Trinidad for this thing for 50 years. We must bring an end to this. Must.
And before we take a break here, I want to give our viewing audience the opportunity to weigh in on the discussion. Do you think that this was an attack on the THA or a personal attack against Assemblyman Trevor James, or do you just think that the licensing officers were simply doing their job by conducting this investigation? But we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back right after this. See you soon.
Morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me.
Go in. You have to stop it. You have to stop it.
Welcome to my kitchen, guys.
You have to stop it again.
That's it. That's the intro. Let's do it one more time, right?
Stop. You don't have to sneak in. You don't have to sneak. Pigeon Point security, we have access pass. You don't have to sneak in.
What access passes, sir?
The new Pigeon Point Breaking Beach access card. With this card, you can get free access to Pigeon Point, a free umbrella, and a free chair. So make sure you get your Pigeon Point access card.
I can get that?
Definitely. This is your access card, so you can now go into Pigeon Point.
Okay. Guys, we outside in Pigeon Point, sun and we enjoying it with we access cards. All social media links to Youth Voice and Pigeon Point would be tagged, and stay tuned for it.
CONCACAF Nations League, Tuesday, 10th September. Trinidad and Tobago will face French Guyana at the Dwight York Stadium. Tobago, the Stars will be on the field. Kickoff, 7 p.m. sharp. Be there to see the battle unfold. Time to represent our national pride. TNT, this September. It's time to rally again. The CONCACAF Nations League.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Thank you so much for your comments and your feedback. Now, we have persons saying that regardless of your political position, what has happened over the weekend or late last week was wrong. Whether you stand on the side of any color. Persons are saying they've never heard of licensing officers actually coming into your home outside of, pulling your vehicle aside while they're, out on duty. What do you think the THA should be doing? You would have suggested going to court to take back control over the licensing department. But what should the THA be doing right now as it stands to get a hold on this state agency that is supposed to be under the remit of the THA?
As with all things in government, you know, we have been trying to speak to the powers in Trinidad, to saying to them, listen, town country planning, give an example. Town country planning is clearly the responsibility of the THA. We went to the house in Tobago, we debated the matter. We've been treating with the Ministry of Planning in Trinidad, and this is now almost 2 years where we've essentially had an agreement that, listen, this is your responsibility, from Trinidad saying that. And we still can't get them to give us all the data we need to take the full authority of town country planning in Tobago. So there is a need, I suppose, for us to look at the various strategies available to us and to ensure that we are prosecuting the thing in the best way that we can. And those decisions and announcements will be made by the Chief Secretary in due course. But surely we have to have a multifaceted approach to how we prosecute it. And some will be legal, some will be in the public debate that we are having now, and some, of course, will be political when we have a chance to vote. I think the people join the debate and join the discussion when there's a chance to vote. And when you vote in Tobago, you have to vote to ensure that there's a government in Trinidad that is sympathetic to the majority's plight in Tobago. And what we have seen thus far for the last 8 years, that has not been the case. We've had a chief secretary that was PNM who sent a bill to Trinidad that started this whole new round of changing the THA Act. And the PNM in Trinidad, in the parliament, watered it down so badly that you can't even recognize it. That is PNM Tobago deciding, and one might even theorize that as soon as Chief Secretary London took God out of his thoughts apparently and sent his bill to Trinidad, he was asked to step down in Tobago. One might even theorize that, because you would see the bill went to Trinidad 2015. By 2016, he's gone. And every time at Tobago, and it doesn't matter if it's a PNM Tobago or not, apparently. Every time a Tobagonian stands up and says, this is what we want, the PNM in Trinidad finds a way to cut the legs off of that request. And we have to find a place where we are not requesting. This is our inalienable rights in Tobago to take control of all that is Tobago. The union between Tobago and Trinidad is such that the waters north of Tobago, east of Tobago, south of Tobago is what Tobago brings to the union. And don't mind the nonsense that Alwari spoke when he was Attorney General. Those are the facts according to the UNCLOS. The island brings a certain marine space to the union between Tobago and Trinidad. And we have to ensure that this foolishness of 6 miles and all of that goes away. And Tobago and Trinidad are equal in the union, where whomever is politically in charge in Tobago has responsible for everything that is Tobago. And we can then have a relationship with Trinidad that is equal.
In your press conference on Friday, you kind of hinted to the fact that this is why individuals like yourself should be, putting themselves forward for that general election. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, I came into the politics late in my life, and it has been a struggle in the family, trying to see how we participate in this desire for control of our space. And some brothers have been in and out around the politics and so on. When I came into the politics, my goal was to contribute as best as I can to build Tobago. So we came up with the plan for Scarborough, which would have been an economic plan for Tobago, essentially, a development plan. And we've found that there's stumbling blocks that are put in place every time we try to move forward. For simple things, roads, simple things. There's a stumbling block in the way. And that stumbling block is because of how the laws are written and how the practice of how the laws have been implemented over the years. And so it is clear to me now that the solution to the Tobago problem is in the parliament. Unless we want to pick up guns and arms and so on, the solution is in the parliament, and we need our best to be in the parliament. I can remain in Tobago if we win again, and if the chief secretary so wishes, appoints me back at works, and we can, begin to transform Tobago. But the real goal of our political arrangement, of our political party, is to free Tobago from the bondage of the union. And so I've offered myself, and I really feel that yes, we need our best and our brightest in the parliament. And the success we gained in 1980, it is because we had two of our best in the parliament, in Robinson and Murray. And we need to make one final push, one final 5 years to bring this thing to an end. Otherwise, your children and my children will be going through this battle next 30 years. And that's not what we want.
All right. And when it comes to Tobagonians and their reactions to this, what type of support have you been getting?
I think for the most part, the support has been great. I think people are disgusted, people are disgruntled, people are angry, people are ready for a war of sorts. And this for me is a tipping point, and maybe for some Tobagonians, a lot of Tobagonians as well, it's the time has really come for us to chart our own course in this union that we have. The time has come. We have everything that we need to manage ourselves in Tobago, and the time has come where we must see that it can't take a man from Point 14 or from Digo Martin to run us. The time has come for us to move away from the type of union that we have to something that benefits our children and our grandchildren, and we have to do it now. And I think a lot of people are at that place.
Do you think that the conflicts that exist within the relationship now would have a negative impact on some of the development projects that you have moving forward for the division?
Well, we have seen that the government in Trinidad has weaponized every state agency against us. And so, yes, the short answer is yes, that whatever development plan, development works we envision, the government in Trinidad is not going to facilitate it. We have one upcoming. I mean, the road and the issues with the road have been on the table for a while. But we have essentially an agreement from the Minister of Finance to fund the construction of Scarborough Secondary School. I will bet my bottom dollar that they're not going to give us a cent to start the construction of that school. Not in this fiscal, when an election is around the corner. And that is the kind of thing we have to fight with. We have to beg the Ministry of Finance to pay us money that they owe us. And they refuse. I mean, simple, material, small things. We have to keep fighting every step of the way, because the laws are written for the advantage of those in the parliament. And we have to change that.
We're going to take a quick break right here, and when we're back, we will be wrapping up this discussion. See you soon.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never.
I'ma play some tune like this. Don't worry, my wife will fuck it up. Make me happy whenever you fuck it up. So me play very hard, fiesta, fun.
This one is for the people and them who don't care what nobody else have to say about them.
Them not enough cash. Broke where you have, boy, you know about.
It's too early for that.
Too early, good all.
Said you put on enough 99. Girl, go to club, girl, right. Nice.
Who's the one friend can drink all the alcohol no matter what?
Put a bottle and spoon and a cup in my hand and a winding up on me man.
Dream.
Attention all talented individuals and groups in Tobago. This is your moment to shine. Showcase your skills in music, dance or drama at Tobago Star Quest. Prelim auditions are held every Sunday across various communities throughout Tobago. Seize the chance to win exciting prizes and demonstrate your talent. For more details, visit our Instagram page at tobago.star.quest or email tobagostarquest@gmail.com. We look forward to seeing you there.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
I'm so relieved Javel gave me this money. Now I could enjoy the holidays with my family and not have to worry about monies for bags, books and shoes.
Javel? Who is Javel? She could give me some money too?
Javel is the July-August vacation education loan at Bethel Credit Union. Up to $20,000 to help with all additional expenses during this July-August.
Yes, you heard right. Call the Bethel Credit Union and ask for Javel. She'll hook you up with the money to take care of all your additional expenses this holiday season. Open to new members too. Get up to $20,000 and have a worry-free holiday with Javel. Call 639-8226 or 631-1336 or message us on Facebook for more information.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. I have been chatting in studio with Assemblyman Trevor James, who is the Secretary for the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development. Now, we have been chatting extensively about all that has happened to him on the later half of last week, with licensing officers coming to his home with a warrant to search and to retrieve devices. Actually, we would have thought that it would have been to search your vehicles, but it was to retrieve your devices. But although they came for devices, we saw in that video that you posted that they had lifted up your bonnet and was somewhat inspecting the vehicle.
Yes, the license officers came with a view to re-inspect the vehicle, and I allowed them to inspect the vehicle. They wanted to check my chassis number, I think they said, as if I had a stolen vehicle. And but it was a ploy for the police to come to try to take my devices. And so, not wanting to get into a confrontation with police officers, I opened my gate and let them in, because, you know, officers would begin to get irate because of the conversations we were having at the gate, and the potential dangerous situation arising. So I decided to let them in. But of course, some people would say I should have resisted strongly, but at my home, it is not something to do. But nevertheless, license officers have no respect for THA officials. Right. I am by law, license officers report to the administrator of the division, who reports to me. They have no respect because they have been strengthened by the action taken in Trinidad and by the instruction that they get. We allow ourselves to be run in this branch culture that we have developed in Tobago.
So how does this negatively affect the work functioning of the licensing officers who are in Tobago and who do report to the division?
Well, none of the license officers report to the division, essentially. They report to the transport commissioner. We have an administrative, apparently, have an administrative responsibility to give them building and vehicle and staff. but they don't report to us. And that is the problem. That's one of the problems in the relationship. So the transport commissioner can decide to take action against any THA official that he chooses. When have we ever seen a prime minister's wife vehicle being stopped on the road? It doesn't happen. When have we seen a minister vehicle being searched? It doesn't happen. And that is because someone in Port of Spain is empowering these license officers to take these actions against senior political public servants in Tobago because they have the power to do it. And we are apparently powerless to do anything. And the power that we have will come when the Prime Minister calls the next election. And I want to implore Tobagonians to do the right thing and make sure and put in the Parliament people who will stand up and fight for you. Not people who will sit like mice and follow and take instructions on a party level.
So are you planning to put your hat in the race for that general election?
Absolutely. I think I've made up my mind. Something I've toyed with. I think I've made up my mind. I've publicly offered myself to the party and to the people of Tobago. And when the process starts, of course, I will put my hat in the ring officially. And we'll see where it goes.
Okay. And when it comes, you had touched slightly on the weaponization of state agencies. So I want to just read one of the comments that came in. So there's someone who wants to know whether or not the quarry got the export license. And if not, what is the next step for the THA?
Well, we've requested, applied for the license 2022. We are yet to get it. I am preparing a whole package on the quarry to come to the public shortly. And the details of the export license, the blasting license, how the quarry has been performing, the economic outlook for the quarry, we will put all that together and present it to the people because it's, again, one of the areas where the government has blocked us in a time when there's a shortage of foreign exchange. We have the potential to bring significant foreign exchange to the country. And they continue to block us. They continue to block us, preventing us from purchasing essentially new plant, because the purchase of new plant will depend on the demand for the product and our ability to sell the product as quickly as possible. So we will bring that package to the people before the year is out. And we will again let the people decide for themselves based on the facts that we will put in the space. But in terms of the weaponization, as Tobago knows, we are doing this project at the car station in Carnby and Hawkins Cure Main Road. And we've put out that we want to make the road one way for parts of the day during the construction. We've met with the police, we did the stakeholder meeting with the gas station owners, the people in the surrounding, the village council from Lambo, Lowlands, and so on. And we rerouted the road. And we've asked the police to send officers to protect the driving public and our staff in the area. To date, the police has not responded positively. Just Friday, we had 3 accidents at the construction site with members of the public still trying to go into Carnby from the bank. From the bank, direction of the bank, and dancing in and out of the barrels and so on, with no police officers. And I'm appealing to Mr. Hazel again to send officers as is your duty to protect and serve the people of Tobago at the work site. This is a government project being executed by the state, by the Division of Infrastructure, and you cannot tell me that we must pay extra duty to police officers to come to the site. I'm asking and I'm pleading to the ACP Hazel and Senior Superintendent Kirk to send officers and to ensure that our staff that are on site are not unduly impacted by possible errant drivers and end up in something serious on the site. I'm making the appeal in the public. I've met with both of them privately, and I have sat and I have begged, and I am not getting the response that I believe the government in Tobago should get. Again, it is part of this lack of control that we have.
And how does this feed into the need for a Tobago police unit?
Well, I am not one of the people, unfortunately, who believe that we need a separate Tobago police service. I think it's an additional cost that we can't really bear. We need to have control of the police in Tobago. We have 2 states in this union. And it can't be that somebody sits in Port of Spain and decide for Tobagonians, crime is running, murders are escalating, and we essentially have no real jurisdiction when it comes to the police. And it can't be that. They can put all the boats in Stoble's Bay and have no boats for the Coast Guard in Tobago, no vehicles for the Army in Tobago, and we can do nothing. It can't be that is what is intended by the law. And so I am not one of the people who believe that, but there are those who do. And given the budgetary constraints we operate under, it is another expense that we ought not to undertake, in my view. But that's a personal and not a party view. But there is no doubt in my mind that the ACP Tobago ought to report at least to the Chief Secretary. Not by some discussion, but to report. It could be nothing else. We have to go and beg almost to have the police take action when we think that's the action that should be taken. We can't instruct them. And so we have to change all those things. Those things just must change. And they must change quickly. Because if they don't, Chanel, we are at the mercy of politicians in Port of Spain. We are at the mercy of them. And they can decide whenever they want or not want. We have a situation on the port where vehicles are being stolen, transported to Tobago, people are coming to Tobago with all kind of contraband, and the security services are preferring to come to Tobago to find the contraband, to find the vehicles, and not put in the necessary infrastructure on the port in Port of Spain. I mean, what kind of craziness is that? Allowing the crime to continue, allowing the goods and vehicles, whatever, to come to Tobago, and then coming to Tobago and shutting down the island to say looking for vehicle and looking for this and looking for that, when the thing emanating in Trinidad.
Understood.
Who makes a decision like that? Not someone who has responsibility in Tobago and puts Tobago first.
Thank you so much, Secretary James, for giving us your time this morning. Unfortunately, this is where we round up this morning's discussion, and we want to thank you guys for your likes, your shares, and all of your comments. We can see them, but unfortunately, we cannot address everyone. But thanks for being a part of the debate this morning. Again, thank you for all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island, and have a great day.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying Tobago is #1.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.